Okay, thank you. Hello, sound check. Transmitter. Okay. Okay, thank you. Hello, my simple sound check.
잘 들립니다. It's because it's two different groups of people, and I find that the levels are quite different, and it made me wonder, because we teach all of you the same thing, and that is the Chan practice is about looking for good knowing advisor and drawing near a good knowing advisor. Okay, looking for a good knowing advisor is to find someone who has done it before, and therefore has a track record in China, in the Chinese system. They have certifications, which is extremely helpful for the Chinese of old, where the Chan teachers were certified by the senior, by the elders. So back then, after you become an enlightened through meditation, through your practice, you would go see a good knowing advisor, or a recognized enlightened master, to seek certification. Okay, and so the first part of the practice is to choose to follow someone's path. Okay, someone's style of practice, if you will. So that's why in China they have 5 different schools of practices. The Weiyang school, Linji school, Caodong school, and so forth. Yunmen school and Fayan school. Those 5 major schools were the core, the main 5 lines of Chan lineages in China, where you can go and you go to one of these 5 lineages, you are sure that to find someone who's enlightened and who's gonna show you the way how to do it. Okay, that's finding a good knowing advisor according to their tradition. Number 2, drawing near a good knowing advisor. Drawing near a good knowing advisor involves following directions. What directions? The directions are, for most people, directions are like do this, do that. But actually, directions, one of the aspect of direction that's not spoken very often is you have to pass the test. Very much like if you were to graduate from one class 1 year to the next, you have to take tests and you have to pass them. You don't pass them, you have to repeat the classes. You have to repeat the tests. So that's what drawing near good knowing advisors really means. Means that you have to pass the good knowing advisors tests. All right? And so it's not very often spoken in that way when the Chinese Chan teach themselves. But here in the U.S., we need to, I prefer to be more explicit and explain to you that to follow a good knowing advisor as per the Chinese instructions, is actually you need to figure out a way to pass the tests. Okay, and that's very, very important. And the tests are wonderful ways for you to learn quicker, if you will. Okay, so different tests for different people, and so that's the culture of the Chan world we're practicing, and I feel the Asians are more familiar with those concepts than the Westerners here, which we have a class tomorrow morning, California time. And so, in a way, the Asians have a superior advantage to the non-Asians because of the culture, because of the value system. And this is something that I hope that you, older Asians, elder Asians, should keep in mind and instill that in the younger generation. This is very important. This is their heritage. This is part of their treasure from the mother and the fathers, from the grandmother and grandfathers, because that's real treasure that I find to be crucial in your welfare, if you will. Okay, because Asians, for most Asian cultures, they follow the Confucian teachings, and which is very sound principles. They're excellent principles, and they are part of the Buddhist Chan foundation. It's not entirely the foundation, but it's a very good introduction to the foundation of Buddhist principles. And so therein lies the superior of the superior Asian culture. So I hope that you, parents, you grandparents, you aunts and uncles, will be more willing to invest in that part of teachings to your children and so forth. Okay, because that's a real treasure. As I said, it's a real to me, one of the most important parts of the wealth transfer from one generation to the next. It's not simply money, not simply connections, not simply relations, okay, experiences and trade skills and specialized skills, but it's the values that are baked into our beings, in our cultures. So it emanates from your bone marrow, from your bones, from the way you live, from your perspective of lives, and so forth. And that's a real advantage for Asians. All right? And so that's what I saw. And the reason is that I met a lot of different people, from very smart people, professors here, Caucasian professors I met in my prior life, where I had to hire them to do consulting work for me, and they are recommended by one professor after another, the best in the fields and so forth. And I found that they are very interesting people, but they lack substance. They're smart, they're very strong in the field of expertise, but their life is out of balance. It's kind of interesting to me. Okay, and then the last trip to Korea, I had the wonderful opportunity to meet with a Korean professor. He's the one who initiated the request to come and see me. And I said, my first reaction is that I really don't have time to talk to professors. I really don't think much of professors, okay? Because I don't find a good use of my time at all. But I thought about it. He's apparently everyone's very impressed with him, and because he has a very impressive track record, and he does everything right. Okay, he's a famous personality. So I said, and he invited me to go to one Michelin star restaurant. And I said, yeah, I've been there a few times. Okay. But it's kind of nice of him to invite. It shows the proper protocol, proper respect, and so forth. So I said, well, since I have some time here during the weekdays, let me take a chance. And so I told him that yes, I'd love to come, but I will have to bring some of my followers, especially my Sanghas. So I brought 3 Sanghas. My goal was to, I told them that I'm going to bring you to lunch today, not because of the food, but because of the fact that I want you to see how to handle the intellectuals. Because so we went there, and it's to tell you, to be honest with you, this professor is really a gentleman, a superior Buddhist disciples, superior intellect with superior intellect. And so he started by saying that, I read I've listened to your videos, I watched your videos, I read your books, and I have a few questions. He put all the questions in his Samsung phone there. It's a long list of things. And I said, sure, we'd love to. You can ask anything about anything you wish. And so, you see, I was impressed because of the proper attitude, the proper protocol, and he's very established, well established in Korea as an authority in Buddhist things. He translated, his story is that he was a professor, and he decided that there's something missing in his life, so he started to meditate, okay? So he meditated, so he went to see the Korean teachers, and he learned how to meditate from them. And after 8 years, he said, I'm not going to make it. At the rate I'm going, I'm not going to make it. And during those 8 years, he meditated every day, he read books, and he researched materials and so forth. And he decided that no, he's not going to make it. So he said, my only chance was to go into Pure Land. Okay? So he started researching more about Pure Land Buddhism and started practicing Pure Land Buddhism. After some time, he decided, well, this is still not enough. So he decided to go to the mountain to practice by himself, to meditate, or to recite the Buddha's name in the mountain. Okay, so he did that. After a while, came back and said, well, I don't feel I have a chance to go to Pure Land either. It doesn't look good for me right now. So he started, and then during the whole time, the process, he studied more sutras, did a lot of translations, learned Chinese, to translate from Chinese into Korean, a lot of books, a lot of materials. So you see right there is an intellectual and who is very, very determined to learn about Buddhism. And that tells you right there that he has, number one, tremendous blessings. Okay, number two, that he's really, the intellect is there. Okay, he's not caught up by his smarts. He recognizes something that more than the worldly materials had to offer, and so he turned to Buddhism. And it tells you right there that he's a really, really superior man. He stuck with it for decades, 3 decades. Very, very impressive person, if you will. Okay, and he translated. He brought along a box that has like maybe a dozen of his translated books. Okay, so you see, it's an authority on a lot of Buddhist materials. And so we talked, and the interesting thing was that he started talking, and I liked him more and more as we spend more time, because he's a really, really good man, very smart man, good heart and everything, proper and everything. But as with a lot of smart people, they're used to figuring things out themselves. And the unfortunate thing about spiritual things is that it's not something you can figure out yourself. Someone has to tell you. Because in Chan meditation in particular, we do something called Guan, contemplate. Okay? It's not reading. Okay? It's not simply learning. But whatever you read, whatever you hear, you need to contemplate. And this is a message I want to send to all of you. Okay? The way we practice is more demanding than the typical Asian teachers, including my teacher, my masters, Master YongHua. Because I will teach you how to practice Chan, but also from now on, I also would like you, okay, if you feel that you still want more, okay, then just what you could get from these classes, my Friday night classes, or many classes that other people, other disciples of mine have online and so forth, or in person and so forth. And there will be more of those classes as we have more competent and qualified instructors. Okay? There's one thing though you still need to do is to listen to the Dharma. You have to listen to the Dharma. Okay? And it's for very practical reasons. When you're tired, when you're afflicted, and you don't know what to do, okay? Instead of wasting your time and turn on the TV like many people do, or listen to music or whatever, okay? When you're looking for a solution, you're trying to look for a solution, my advice to you, if you really have a problem, is to listen to the Dharma. You can listen to Master Hsu's tapes, MP3, watch his videos, watch my video, and so forth. Those are very good for you, but those are important for you to deepen your wisdom, if you will. Okay? Because meditation alone is not enough, let me tell you. Meditation simply is part of the skills. It's like building your muscles, learning your martial arts. But also, that's not enough. Once you learn how to punch, how to build up your physical strength, you need to learn how to use that strength, use that skill, okay? And that's where the Dharma, listening to the Dharma matters, okay? So it has to be both, okay? It's not enough to meditate, if you will. We have to listen to the Dharma. And that has always been the case the last 20 years, the last 2 decades. I've always taught you, sat with you, and then I spent an hour talking Dharma to you. Yes, there's a question here. One.
Thank you, Master. Not a question, but a comment. Besides listening to your Dharma talk, Master, the benefit is, just like you say, is to increase the wisdom. But what I also notice in my house, we have TV, but the TV is mainly to listen to your Dharma talk. So I have it on all the time. And then I notice that when I have it on, then the environment in the house is very peaceful. My children or my daughter will have not having an episode of manic or mad and stuff like that. Just like today, the whole day was so peaceful, and then my brother-in-law came to visit my father-in-law, and he liked to sing for that, so he turned on the karaoke, and of course your Dharma that we are listening have to turn off during the time that he's singing, and then boom, the emotional part of my daughter explodes. So I find that is your Dharma talks also ease the environment in the house a lot too. Thank you, Master.
Okay, thank you for sharing with that. Early on in my teaching career, I was told that there's some of my disciples who were thrilled, so she would listen to the videos, my videos, and she discovered that her cat also all of a sudden came out of nowhere, came and sat in front of her, and then coiled and then listened to the Dharma as well. Strange things happen. Okay. All right. Yes, there's a reason for that, but that's a natural part of it. But the thing is that also when I first started and I was afflicted, I would listen to Master YongHua's tape or read his books in English, and it calmed me down. And then somehow, more often than not, I would be able to resolve my affliction, to find a solution to my problems naturally. You know why? Now, looking back, I understood that when I listen to his Dharma, I have connection with him. That's why it relaxed me. I became more relaxed, less afflicted, clear my head. That's how when you're afflicted, you find a way to clear your head. That's when you can see clearer and how to solve your affliction, how to solve your problem. Okay, so that's another application of that as well. All right? Because otherwise, we worry. That's what we do. We're afflicted, and the afflictions take over, and we keep on spinning our mind, our wheels, and exhaust ourselves. That's all it does. And the Dharma stops that. Listening to the Dharma stops that. All right? And later on, when you meditate, all those things you listen to will help your contemplation. Okay, so that's part of the Quan. Okay, Quan is what Chan is about. It's not just crossing your legs alone. Okay, you have to Quan. It's a natural process that when you meditate, all those things you listen, all the Dharma you listen to, okay, will come back and become clearer to you. Okay, and that's part of life. When in my younger days, I was going to school at Minnesota at Minneapolis campus. I remember after a year or so, I began to be more accustomed to the lifestyle coming from Vietnam the year before, and I started hanging out with my friends. And while I was waiting with this Jewish friend here, she was having a class, so we had to wait for her. And so I chose to sit in a classroom. And you know, the university has plenty of empty classrooms. Okay, so I walked in there and sat down. And what's interesting is I never knew about meditation, never meditated really at all, never learned. And I decided to, while waiting, I decided to still myself and not move at all physically, not move at all. Okay, just stood there. I decided, I don't know what to do. I don't want to read, so I'm going to just not move. So I sat there for about 10 minutes or so, like that, not meditating, not reciting Buddha's name, just that's not move, that's not think of anything. And a Caucasian guy walked in, okay, and he sat about 4 or 5 tables away, and after 3 minutes, he stood up and looked at me and said, "You shouldn't do that." I didn't move, I didn't say anything, okay? You should not move, not move like that. It's scary. So he walked away, indignantly. And so, that is to tell you that it's your blessings, the thing you've done before that will come back and help you, because the meditation is something that will bring you this state of peace, of calm, that is a kind of reminder for you in the future lifetimes or in the future, where you know that that's something you can always go back to find refuge, to find shelter, to find inspiration. Okay, so that's part of your heritage. Same thing as as I said earlier about your Confucian values, the Asian culture. That's part of your heritage as well, because you learn about the words of wisdom from Confucius that's heavily integrated into the Asian cultures. Okay, it's a real treasure for the young, and especially for the Asians. And please keep that in mind. Okay, that's a very wonderful gift you give your children. You don't need to make excuses about that. Okay. All right. Any other questions and comments? Yes, 5.
Master, I'm curious, Confucius' teaching is a foundation versus Christian teaching is a foundation. Do you see a difference in terms of like the people grow up in different?
Personally, I find the Confucian teaching to be far more important, far deeper than the Christian teachings. Christian teachings are also good teachings, so are Mormon teachings, so our Jewish teachings and so forth, okay, the major religions, they all have a good teachings, but the Confucian teachings is far deeper than all the other three, okay? And so that's part of the Buddhist fabric as well, albeit it's not deep enough for Mahayana, but it is very, very most excellent start, okay? And I'm really saddened by the fact that the monks and nuns, the sunims, are not taking time to teach their followers that anymore. We're too worried about, even if they don't lecture on sutras or shastras and so forth, they should be speaking about things very important in the Dharma talks for the followers. And I feel that especially I am saddened to see that the young Asians are abandoning that, like I did, and it didn't lead me to a good path. And eventually, personally, I encountered Master YongHua and Mahayana. That's what brought me back to my Asian culture, my Asian heritage. Okay, all right. So no, it's a lot deeper, if you will. Okay, and so even if you don't find, I find one of my disciples, she would hire someone to teach her children Confucian teachings. So that's, I think, is so wise, so clever. Okay, it's well worth it. Trust me. Because you don't want to tell your children, you have to be Buddhist and so forth, but to teach them about Confucianism and Confucius teachings, it's such a clever thing to do, such a beautiful thing to do, that you can relate with everyone else, okay? Buddhists and non-Buddhists alike, young and old people alike, okay? That's depth right there. You're giving your children depth, all right? Any other questions? Yes, 5.
So, Master, are you suggesting we teach our kids Confucians now or Buddhism?
It depends on your family, it depends on your husband and so forth. I would imitate what one of my teachers did. She got a teacher to teach Confucianism to her children. I think it's so clever. Okay, I like it. I really like it. Okay, and for your children, and to me, this is why it really saddens me to see how the young Japanese and the young Koreans and the young people of the world are killing themselves. Okay, because they lack direction, and no one seems to care for the formation of the minds. When your children, when they're young, to the young, we owe them. It's our responsibility to give them the proper foundation on which to build their lives. To feed them is not enough. You have to feed them not just with physical things or intellectual things, but you also need to feed them with spiritual things. And I find that Confucianism bridges both, okay, intellectual and spiritual worlds. So it's very, very clever, okay. So you can, for the average person, they say, "Oh, I'm learning about Confucianism, Asian wisdom." So everyone can accept it. But if you were to tell them, "Oh, you should learn Buddhism," they say, "Oh, you are one of those fanatics, aren't you?" And then you go to the cult temple and go for DDT and something wrong with you. Okay, so that's why it's much, much better for me for young people to learn about Confucius Analects, the teaching and so forth. It's kind of cool, you know, cool Asian culture. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, I think that I'm not quite sure about the Guan contemplation in meditation. Last time I asked you about how to deal with the fear with my father, and you suggest that I can meditate with this issue. And when I meditate, I said that, okay, I will work on this issue. And then I sat, and nearly to the end of the meditation, I realized that it is me that I don't want to let go or release this issue. I'm not sure.
Let go of what? The
huh?
issue. Okay.
Issue, yeah.
And the issue is, remind me,
I
I'm sorry, and you look familiar, but I don't remember your name. What is the issue?
Issue?
For those of us who don't know what your issue is, what is the issue?
Oh, my issue is that last time you mentioned that maybe the PTSD, when I have a fear around the area of my heart, I think maybe that is related with some early experiences with my father.
What?
When I was young.
Oh, PTSD. Yeah, okay. PTSD. Yeah, I have it too. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And so, what is your point? You meditated, and then what?
And I meditate, and I find that maybe I still have some complaints about my father, and some things that I still do not release in my mind, and maybe that is the reason.
Okay.
That I still have this fear.
Yes. So.
Yeah. So when doing this, I'm not sure that if I'm doing the meditation right.
Yeah.
And you mentioned today that
you're beginning to. Okay. So part of that process is for you, when you have a problem that bothers you, instead of ignoring it, instead of distracting yourself, okay? That's what the average person does. I want you, if it bothers you about your father and your issue, then meditate, okay? Meditate. Don't run away from it and say, I have this problem, okay? And you sit there. I still have this problem. You keep on sitting until one day you understand why you sit, and then poof, you see, that's what this thing is. It might take a day, might take 2, might take 4 years. We don't know, okay? But that's part of your learning process. Eventually, you keep on doing that with often enough with your issues, then you begin to understand what contemplation really means. Okay?
Okay, so no explanation for contemplation, just do it.
Just do it, yeah. It's if you do it, then you understand for yourself. You understand for yourself. If I explain it to you, then it's my understanding, not yours. The wisdom is something that belongs to you, okay? When I give you my wisdom, it's not your wisdom, it's still my wisdom.
Okay,
all right?
So just sit there and say, I have this issue, and then start meditation, that's all.
What do you mean, that's all?
Oh, I mean that I can just continue.
Yeah, just look at it, that's all. That's why I said to her, that's all. Okay. Yeah, just keep on doing it, okay? If it bothers you, okay, PTSD bothers you, then cross your legs and say, oh, It bothers me. That's all. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? No questions? Very good. Today, we talk about this word water. So, Wei Mao, go ahead.
Master, you told us to create virtues by making sacrifices. I understand that soldiers make sacrifices to keep us safe. How do I apply it in daily life? For me, I rarely feel that I make sacrifices. There was 2 recent occasions when I felt that I made sacrifices, but when I thought twice about it, I felt I didn't really make sacrifices. So one day, when my dad was complaining, my first thought was, oh, I'm sacrificing my emotional well-being to listen to your complaints, and you are still unhappy.
Who's
but
still
when
unhappy?
I thought twice
He's
about
still unhappy, or are you still unhappy?
He is still unhappy.
So
Yes, so I feel
because-
I'm making sacrifices to
wait a
listen
minute.
to you, but
Okay,
you are still
stop.
unhappy. So
Stop.
why am I doing this?
So you make sacrifices that's supposed to work? Are you that naive? Really? I need to hear this, your answer. You make one sacrifice, one moment, and that's supposed to fix all the problems in your world, right?
That's not my point. So when I thought twice about it, I felt that I'm doing this because of my desire to care for him and to make him happy. So I'm not only doing it for him, I'm also doing it for myself. So when I think that way, I feel I'm not really making sacrifices for him because I'm also doing that for myself.
You're very selfish, yeah.
And another time, I took my son to his tennis class, and he told me, I'm not going today. My first thought was that I'm sacrificing my time to bring you here, and you are telling me you are not going.
Uh-huh.
I could have used the time to have some fun myself.
Mm-hmm. Sounds familiar, yes.
Yeah, and then I gave it another thought and realized that I chose to prioritize his well-being and his future over my fun. I'm not really making sacrifices for him. It's just my choice of how to live my life. So, on the other hand, I don't really want people to make sacrifices for me. I'm like, if you feel you are making sacrifices for me, I'd rather you not do it. Mm-hmm. So sacrifice sounds like a kind of heavy energy to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm having difficulty figuring out what it really means in everyday life.
I don't know where to begin. Because you're so calculating. Someone help me out. I have no idea on how to explain this woman here who's 计较. I mean, she's always counting, 1 for me, 1 for you, 1 for me, 2 for you, therefore you owe me 1, because I made sacrifices for you. Good Lord. Yes, 5. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think my understanding of sacrifice is what Master taught us. Like, when you don't want to do it, you do it just to benefit others, not for my own goal, but to benefit others, and don't expect anything in return. Just don't expect anything in return. So my example for that is once Master called, like sometimes don't take my son to temple, and because he distracts me. I want to cultivate. He distracts me when he's here. Master called me selfish, and I realized that. So I sacrificed to bring him to the temple, even when I know bringing him means I cannot cultivate. And so that
So
is...
did you, wait. Then when you did that, when you decided to do that, every time you went to the temple, did you say, today I'm going to make sacrifices for my son? Okay? I don't want to bring him, but today I bring him because I want to make sacrifices. Did you?
I don't think I was that clearly thinking about that.
This woman would do it every day. You see, for her it's very clear. Okay? One marble for me, one marble for you. Okay? And so forth. Okay? You're trying to calculate too much. It's the principle that I'm teaching you, and yet she translated everything, that principle, into every single itsy-bitsy things of life. Okay? I made enough sacrifices for you. You don't appreciate it. Maybe I shouldn't make sacrifices anymore. What does making sacrifice mean in the end? You're taking a loss. That's all it means. You know, when you do that, you're incurring a loss. When you say, for you, I do it. Okay? And you don't. And again, and thank you for asking the question, by the way. So the next rule, new rule for making sacrifices, don't count them. Okay? That's it. You make sacrifices because you choose to, not because of any gain and is it enough and so forth. Don't count so much. Don't keep track. Okay? Don't keep score. All right? Does it help? And you try that for a while, and then eventually your son would say, "Oh, it's so nice that Mommy makes sacrifices for me, so I can count on that." When he begins to count on that, that's when you say, "Okay, that's enough. I don't make sacrifices anymore." Okay? That's part of making sacrifices. Next level of sacrifice is that you stop making sacrifices. You don't get it. It's okay. Keep on doing it, but don't keep score. Okay? This woman is so precise. I'm making sacrifices, and it better produce results for me. Does it not produce good results? Why should I doing it? Why should I keep on doing it? Oh, that's not making sacrifices. If you ask me, it's like, it's calculating. I'm doing it because it's beneficial for me, it's beneficial for you. Second, making sacrifice is like a gift. I give it to you. And you ask me why? And I don't know why. But you insist, really, there must be a reason. Then you could say, oh, Master YongHua said I should make sacrifices. That's what I do. That's about how it goes. But no, this woman has to be keeping score. That's not making sacrifices. Okay? Yes. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Lena, I can see the confusion on your face. So I think what resonates with me about what Master said about this is Master always say, you do it and you forget about it, right? You just do it and forget about it. Don't count, don't expect anything in return, just forget about it. And
you know why? You know why I taught you that? Because if you didn't forget about it, you're tabulating, you're keeping score, you will stop making sacrifices. That's what happened to her. When you give, making sacrifices is to give. Okay? You incur a loss on purpose. That's giving. And what's the principle of giving in Buddhism? We teach you, when you give, you forget it immediately. You don't say, oh, remember me? I made sacrifices for you. Okay? That's not giving anymore. It's not making sacrifices anymore. I hope it helps. But thank you for asking. You see, this is what happened to you Western educated people. For us Asian, real Asians, when I teach you making sacrifice, the Asians get it right away. The Western people say, okay, how many? How often? Is there a time where I can stop? I say, yes, eventually you will be able to stop. But by making sacrifices one day, when you made enough, you say, now it's time to stop. Because it doesn't help anymore. I can help more by stopping. So you keep on making it, doing it, you forget and forget, until one day you say, it's time to stop. That's what's cool about it. You don't need to keep score. It will happen naturally. You find out that it's better to stop. And that's part of making sacrifices. You need to stop. Okay? I hope it helps. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Hello, Master. I would like to just share my reaction to Lina and have a related question. So when I heard Lina saying, when I heard what she said, my reaction was when she's thinking too much, she needs more patience, listening to Masters talk more, meditate more, like Xiaojing just asked, meditation on it. That was just my reaction about it. And I have a related question, Master.
Yes, ma'am.
So, about sacrificing, I know somebody in my life, she would she would do things to sacrifice. And she would say, look, all these things I sacrificed for you, and I don't complain. Is that sacrificing and dropping? Is that really sacrificing?
Yeah, it is to her. Okay? That's all that matters. If it's a sacrifice to her, good, you have to accept it. But the sacrifice I'm teaching you is for us. You don't use the same standards on others. Okay? I hope it helps. Yes, JC.
Thank you.
Hello, Master. 반갑습니다. 이승남입니다. 며칠 전에 제 가족을 잘 아는 후배들하고 이제 식사를 하는 과정에 제 이제 현재 그 수행 생활에 대해서 이제 얘기를 했는데 자기들 생각으로는 너무 이기적이다. 자식들, 손자들, 그다음에 집사람도 많이 챙겨줘야지 혼자 수행한다고 거의 시간을 절에서 보낸다든가 뭐 미국으로 간다든가 이런 그 이제 상당히 그 이해를 못하는 그런 지적을 받았는데 제가 생각하기는 좀 불필요한 그런 번뇌스러운 조언이 아니었나 이렇게 생각하는데 그렇게 생각해도 되겠습니까?
Hello, Master. This is Seungnam Lee. Few days ago, I had a meal with acquaintances of mine, with my family, who's more junior than me, and we talked about our cultivation lives. And they were telling me that in their mind, I'm too selfish. I don't take care of my children or my grandchildren or my wife. I just try to cultivate by myself and spend most of my time in the temple and try to go to US even. And they couldn't understand my behaviors and they commented it. And in my mind, I think they were unnecessarily afflicted and gave me an advice. Can I think this way?
I don't know. I don't know them. They have some wisdom right there. I mean, how could you ignore those their comments because they care enough to tell you? So it's hard for us to ignore those suggestions. But it's not atypical of the people who don't go to temple to talk like that because they don't appreciate the going to the temples. It's not just going to the temples. I feel that the Christians, the Catholics, and the Mormons or the Arabs who go to the temples, the Islam people who go to the churches, who go to the synagogues, who go to their mosques and so forth. I find it's a very important part of your lives, okay? Because the people who do not are missing out on strengthening their spiritual fabric. What people don't realize is that we are also, all of us are also spiritual beings. Okay? The Western education people, what people learn, teach you, what you learn in school are simply worldly, physical, engineering, so forth. But they don't teach you about your spiritual being. Okay? And so this is something that I feel that the elders don't seem to appreciate. I mean, like when I was younger, my mother, my parents would bring me to the Buddhist temples and baifu, and you bow to the Buddha and you offer incense and you bow to Buddha and so forth. And I grew up looking down upon that, thinking it's like superstition, okay? And it's a good thing to do, but if I were to do it nowadays, if I had children and grandchildren, I would teach more about spirituality, the importance of spiritual life. Going to the temple is simply not offering incense, simply not bowing to Buddhas alone, but it should also about adding fertilizer to your spirituality, the spiritual part of your being, of your makeup. And you cannot do it. And that's really a better place to go for that purpose. So even if you go there, don't just stop at making them bow to Buddhas and so forth, but explain to them, you know why these institutions have been around for thousands of years, and because they are useful for a lot of people, okay? And it's a very important part of their life, okay? So you should think about this. You should know about this. Even though you don't believe it, then in the future, okay, when you are in trouble and you have nowhere else to turn, okay, you should consider turning to your girlfriend or your wife's support. It could be a church, could be God, could be a Buddha, whatever. This is that spiritual part of us. That is, we have spiritual needs. Okay, and those who ignore it will be more unhappy than they need to be. Okay, that's all. That's what we know. But it's not up to us to tell them. Okay, it's for you as an elder to bring your children, your grandchildren to the temple and to the church, whatever, but to emphasize the importance of the spiritual life. If you do it like that, it's less likely when they get older to be your age and become your relative, but for them to think that you're wasting your time, wasting your life going to the temple, okay? Because I happen to disagree, because when you come to the temple, even for 5-10 minutes, a half an hour, okay, you are adding fertilizer to your spiritual seeds. You are enhancing your spiritual being, your spiritual nature. And that makes you a better person. And you know, when you go home, it rubs off the people around you, whether they like it or not. Okay? It's what we do is not about, how to measure it, like my professor at Los Angeles. Okay, she has to measure everything. You know, it's keeping score. It's about your well-being. Okay, so what to do about this person? You definitely don't want to ignore this person. Of course, I know you handle a lot of people the proper way in your prior life and so forth, but you should acknowledge, yes, you appreciate the input and so forth, and you really said, look at that, look at me, look at my hair. I have a lot of hair that are turning white. Actually, how come you color your hair at all? Or how come your hair is not white? Anyway, you say, I really appreciate this, and I know you say it out of the goodness of your heart. But you know what? It's good for me. Okay, it's important for me. Okay, and I make it up to my children later. You acknowledge it, and of course they don't understand it, but that's how you approach it. I say, I make it up to them later because this is important for me. All right? Yeah. Of course they're wrong, but you cannot tell them that. This is because. Look at you. The reason you're at the temple because you still find something, a gaping hole in your life that you need to fill. Yeah? And that's why you're here. That's why many of us are here. That's why I'm here, because I am making, enhancing my spiritual life. Okay? And by the way, most people don't realize it. Your spiritual life is the foundation of your happiness. Okay, people who ignore, who neglect their spiritual life, simply are condemning themselves to be unhappy their entire lives. But we cannot tell them that, can we? Okay? That's all. It takes a lot of blessings for you to be able to hear it and not run away. Okay? All right. Good luck to you. Thank you, everyone. We stop here today.